Starting your own beekeeping journey may seem complicated at first, but the truth is that anyone can begin with proper planning and a realistic budget. The cost of launching a small beginner-friendly apiary depends on the equipment you choose, the number of hives you want to start with, and the region you live in, but overall, it's more affordable than many people expect. The first and most important investment is the bees themselves. Many beginners start with 1 or 2 colonies. A healthy bee colony, depending on the country and availability, can range from a modest price to a more premium cost if it includes a high-quality queen or a strong early-season population. It's important for beginners to understand that buying bees from a reputable, trusted beekeeper greatly increases your chances of success. Cheap, weak, or unhealthy colonies often bring more problems than savings. Next comes the hive, the physical home where your bees will live. A standard wooden hive usually includes the base, brood boxes, supers, frames, and a lid. The price varies depending on whether it's assembled or unassembled, painted or raw, and whether you choose traditional wooden hives or modern insulated materials. For a beginner, one fully complete hive setup is usually enough to start learning. But having 2 hives is better because it allows you to compare colony health and swap frames if something goes wrong. Essential equipment is another part of the budget. You'll need a beekeeper's suit or jacket with a veil for protection, gloves, and a smoker to calm the bees during inspections. A hive tool is necessary for lifting frames and separating glued parts of the hive, something every beekeeper uses constantly. A beginner-friendly kit is usually affordable, and you don't need the most expensive gear right away. However, it is important to avoid extremely cheap equipment because low-quality protective suits can tear, and thin gloves can allow stings through. Another cost to expect is the initial supply of sugar for feeding bees in early spring or during difficult periods. Beginners sometimes worry about feeding because they think it harms the honey, but feeding is done only during specific times when honey production is not happening. It helps the colony build strength, draw a new comb, and survive the early stages. You may also need a feeder, which is a simple device placed inside or on top of the hive to give the bees sugar syrup when necessary. One of the most misunderstood expenses for beginners is the tools used for extracting honey. A manual honey extractor can be quite costly if purchased immediately, but it's not mandatory during your first year. Many new beekeepers borrow an extractor from local clubs, rent one from another beekeeper, or wait until their apiary grows before making the investment. This approach helps reduce early expenses and gives you time to learn whether you want to scale up your beekeeping operation. Beekeeping also requires basic maintenance items such as medications or treatments against mites and pests. These treatments are essential because they protect the bees' health and ensure the stability of the colony. Beginners often underestimate the importance of this step, but proper seasonal treatment can determine whether your bees survive the winter. Fortunately, these supplies are usually not expensive, and most can be purchased only once or twice per year. You should also consider the cost of learning materials, books, online courses, or workshops. While not mandatory, educating yourself dramatically increases your chances of success. Beekeeping is a practical activity, but understanding bee behavior, swarm prevention, queen health, and seasonal hive dynamics gives you the confidence to manage your apiary responsibly. In total, the cost of starting a small, beginner-friendly apiary usually ranges from a modest to a moderate investment, depending on how much equipment you choose to buy at the start. Some people begin with the basics and grow over time, while others prefer to purchase everything at once. The beauty of beekeeping is that it allows both approaches. What matters most is your passion, patience, and willingness to learn. Bees reward those who care for them with honey, wax, propolis, and a deep connection to nature. And while the initial investment might seem like a lot, many beekeepers quickly discover that the real value comes not from the honey but from the experience of working with one of nature's most incredible creatures. If you're ready to begin, remember that every beekeeper once started with a single hive, and that one decision can grow into a lifelong journey filled with learning, sweetness, and the calming magic of the bees.